Last October, a new Star Wars show would air on Disney+. That show was none other than Tales of the Jedi. Upon its release, the show would be met with immense praise and acclaim from Star Wars fans alike. Many praised the show's commitment towards exploring the underlying cracks in the Jedi's ideology that inevitably led to their consequential downfall in the prequel trilogy. But out of all the characters who were brought into the show's spotlight, like Ahsoka, Qui-Gon, and more significantly, Yaddle, I believe that the big winner to come out of Tales of the Jedi was none other than Count Dooku. When Dooku was introduced in Attack of the Clones, he would become a largely overlooked and underrated character in the overall saga. Don't get me wrong, Christopher Lee definitely gave a remarkable performance when playing the character, but his charismatic traits at the time were lacking in a lot of regards, and simply couldn't compete with that of other iconic Star Wars villains like Darth Maul and the sinister Palpatine. Both simply outclassed Dooku with their more appealing characterization, and his limited screen time in both episodes 2 and 3 rubbed even more salt into the wound. The Clone Wars cartoons then tried to alleviate this by allowing Dooku to take the reins of being the main villain. Although I think Dooku was an okay-ish antagonist in the latter, he still wasn't perfect. Throughout the Clone Wars, he was simply the big bad and nothing more. And that pretty much explains why Dooku would become a very overlooked character. The most we got out of him in both the prequels and Clone Wars was his sudden and rapid turn to villainy and cruelty, with his motives and causes for falling from grace never being properly explained nor fleshed out on screen. But Tales of the Jedi would change all this by putting more emphasis on the main thing that makes Dooku stand out from other antagonists of the Star Wars saga: the qualities of a devout politician and idealist. The show establishes this defining quality of his by showing his costly dedication towards creating a perfect order and utopia that best suits the people.
You serve the Senate.
No. We serve the people of this republic.
However, his supposedly noble intentions simultaneously came with that of malice, such that it would continually push him further and further from the Jedi. In justice, Dooku was willing to dispose of those who were unfit to rule over their people, as seen when he force-choked Dagonet, and would have killed the senator if not for Qui-Gon. Then, in choices, Dooku made the choice to defy the Council's instructions and tried to bring a sense of closure to the late Master Katri. Consequently, he was blamed for indirectly causing the death of a senator and was denied a promotion to the Council, being brushed aside in favor of Mace. And while Dooku's trust in the Order was already damaged by the two aforementioned events, in the Sith Lord, Qui-Gon's death ultimately proved to be the straw that broke the camel's back. The Council's inability to heed Qui-Gon's warning in The Phantom Menace left both him and Obi-Wan to fend for themselves and indirectly caused the former's death. Qui-Gon was the very thing that kept Dooku in the light, not only because he was like a son to him, but also because he genuinely understood Dooku's grievances with the Order. He just did not condone his methods. In order for any villain to be successful and evocative on the big screen, they need to have an underlying motive for their fall from grace, rather than simply being the big bad. And throughout the prequels and Clone Wars, the latter was all Dooku was ever known for being. Tales of the Jedi was absolutely critical for Dooku because it perfectly set up his entire motive for his face-heel turn. Whenever he tried to help those wronged by corruption, he was never applauded for his efforts, and gradually became disillusioned with the Jedi as a result. The sad part about all this is that Dooku's efforts to bring peace and order would ultimately be in vain. In Season 2 of Bad Batch, it is revealed that Dooku exploited his own homeworld of Sereno and left the people out there to dry, becoming just like the corrupt figureheads he wanted to depose. Additionally, he became victim to Palpatine's deception and was merely used as a tool that would eventually outlive its usefulness. Overall, I deem Dooku to be the biggest winner from Tales of the Jedi because of the tragic and political characterization he received throughout the show and how it betters his villainous portrayal throughout the prequels and Clone Wars. Thanks for watching, everyone.